these back up. Okay. I think we're good to go now. So, I had this set up and then a bunch of stuff just broke as soon as I started streaming. So, wouldn't be my stream if I didn't have technical difficulties. Anyway, so I don't know if I was even audible at the beginning there because I didn't have my mic turned up. But I'm just grabbing a few last minute reference images before I get started. I don't know if I'm going to get to all of the faces that are on my table today. So the ones that I definitely want to do, I want to do Lenore first because this is going to be the easiest. And for those not familiar with Lenore, this is Lenore. So she's basically my dream doll to have a Lenore Blythe doll. So I decided, you know, what the hell, I'm just going to try my hand at making one. So I think she's going to be the fastest because I really just need to add some blushing on the nose and the mouth area and around the eyes. I'm not even giving her eyebrows because the character does not have eyebrows. Just trying to brush all of the dust off because I don't want to leave anything on there that's going to get sealed in. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do Lenore first, just because I think she's going to be the fastest. And then I want to at least start on my bunny girl. I may actually start with her first, because her colors are going to be the lightest. And I'm working with a very small selection of brushes. I don't really have great brushes to be using with pastels. I've been meaning to get up to the art store to pick some better brushes out and just haven't really gotten around to it with all of the house hunting. So yeah, I may actually start with the lighter colors on the bunny girl first and then do Lenore. And I want to get Fran Bow at least half of the way done today. And if I get to this one, that would be nice, but I'm not going to be heartbroken if I don't, because, like, the only pastel work that I'm going to be doing on her face today is, like, the full green wash. So that's not going to be super exciting to watch. That's more just, you know, if I'm in the zone and I want to keep going, I'll work on her. So I just want to grab a couple more reference images really quick for Lenore and Fran. And then I'm going to get started. I told myself I was going to start... I told myself I was going to start at 3 o'clock today. And at 3 o'clock, I was sitting here, all my stuff was ready to go, my stream was set up, and then I decided that I absolutely had to have some chocolate right this second. I don't know why, like, it just, I had to. So I had to go in the back closet and grab some candy really quick. This is a good one. Okay. I think that's good for Lenore. Yeah, so she's going to be a pretty simple one to do. Most of the work on her was just the carving to get her nose to have that little button shape. I had carved out the bridge in here a bit. And then of course I carved the mouth to give her a big goofy grin because I thought that suited her character. I wanted something kind of like, oh, can I get the glare off of it? There we go. Something kind of like this sort of a face. So I think I already downloaded that one for my reference images. I'm gonna grab a couple of her Fran Bow. Oh, as I dropped my phone. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. I'll use this one. So, just again, for those not familiar with the character, this is Fran Bow. She's from an indie puzzle horror game, which is pretty much my favorite game of all time. I've played it like 5 or 6 times through at this point, I think. I've literally lost count. Okay. So, yeah, those are 2 that I want to work on today. And then, for my bunny girl, I just want to share the inspiration for her really quick. Was this doll from Black Ribbon Blythe. I saw this one online and kind of fell in love with her. I want to say she was on eBay. And I'm going to make mine a lot different than this. Mine's going to be more cute than spooky, which is going to be a bit of a departure for me, but it's something I want to try. But I just saw this doll and she just made me want to do a bunny girl really bad. So I'm going to be doing a bunny girl. Oops. Trying to get back to my reference images now. So, yeah, I think I'm going to start with the bunny girl. Just so I get the lighter color on my brush first. I need to grab my scrap piece of paper really quick. So, put her here. And I want to try this pink for her nose first. I'm not sure how dark it's going to be, but these are Rembrandt pastels, and it's their Earth Reds set. These are pretty good colors for like natural face colorings. There's a good range of lights to darks in this set, so I do like this one a lot. Okay, yeah, see that's the second pink and it's already pretty dark. So let me see what the lighter one looks like. I don't know if it's just that my brush already has too much pastels on it. Let me... Just turning my music down a little bit. Okay. Alright, I don't know that it is the brush because it's still coming out pretty dark. But I think this is going to be okay. So I'm going to start with this and then work my way to the darker colors. And I don't know why this isn't focusing right. There we go. Okay. My lighting is not great. I apologize for that. The weather here's been awful, so I'm doing my best with what I can. Yeah, so this is going to be a good base color. It's not as dark as it looked on the paper. So I think this is going to just do a good job of shadowing these areas. Try a little bit of this one. So I really want to try with this particular doll to keep the color all on the underside of the nose to make it a little more bunny-like. Oh man, there's a squirrel on my bird feeder. Shoot. Well, it's not really worth getting out there just to chase him off. So my sister-in-law left this in my fridge. I claimed it. It's mine now. It's Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen inspired hard seltzer. This one is Berry Inferno. It's peach, blueberry, and raspberry. It's pretty good. Oh god. This just fell over in the sink and about scared the crap out of me. Just trying to brush off the excess pastel so it doesn't get too dark. Oh, there's like a floopy or something. I think it's like a little piece of lint that got itself trapped under the MSC. I don't know if I can just like rub it out of there. Oh man. I didn't see it. It just looked like a shadow until I held it up close. trying to get my eraser totally clean, because it's also picking up the pastels and I don't want to rub color really deep into that. Shoot, I think I already did. I don't know, it's not super noticeable. I may just leave it, because I am planning on giving this doll some freckles. So I can always just strategically put a freckle over that little spot. Alright, so I feel like that's a good subtle base color in there. I'm going to take my eraser and clean up the edges a little bit, and then go in with a slightly brighter pink. Where did my music go? I'm just going to clean up the little sort of overflow outside of the Philtrum and underneath the nose, or some of that pastel kind of migrated itself. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a less earthy tone, more vibrant pink. Just put these away for now. Oh my god, that squirrel is still on my bird feeder. I'm sorry. I gotta chase him off. Furry little assholes. Wouldn't even be such a big deal if they would just like have a little snack and then leave, but they have to like camp out there and eat half of the feeder. So aggravating. Alright. Thinking maybe this one, as I get it all over my fingers. So one day I don't have a rag right here. Alright, let's see what that's gonna look like. That might be too bright. Maybe the one next to it. Nope. Maybe the one to the other side. No, I don't really like that one either. Alright, let's try my other set. This is why you can never have too many colors in your art supplies. These are just the... Where's my cameras? There we go. So these are my super inexpensive pastels. Despite being very inexpensive, they are pretty vibrant, and you have a good assortment of colors here. I'm hesitant to move this camera down here to show anything because it's not working right now. I'm afraid it's gonna freeze again if I move it. Okay, so that's a slightly more muted version of this one, so that's what I want. So we're gonna go with this. And that's this one right here. Oops, I put a little too much on it that time. Maybe this one actually. I think this one down here. Yeah, I like that one better. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay. Oops. Alright, so we're getting just, oh, it looks very gray on camera, but it's a nice, natural looking pink on the nose. I don't want it quite as dark as what's on the mouth, but I want like that same kind of, like a natural pinky shade. So I'm going to go in with, I think I'm going to try this one next to the pink. Yeah. Just to bring the color a little closer to what's on her lips. And then I'm going to blend those two shades until I get it the color I want. So go back in with the pink. Alright, I do want to move it up because my hand is not going to be able to stay at the right angle to be on camera otherwise. I think I might have actually started out too dark with that earthy pink because I'm having trouble lightening it up properly. I may end up actually going in with just a really diluted I'm totally brain farting on the word. I may just dilute some of the paint that I used on her lips and use that on her mouth. And use that on her nose. Oh geez. I promise it's not the one seltzer that I'm drinking. My brain is just very tired. I've had tiny humans in my house for the past week. Any of you who live with tiny humans, I'm sure, can understand that it's a very jarring thing to suddenly have 3 of them in your house all of a sudden when you're not used to having any in there. It's starting to clump plump up on her nostril and give it a dark spot. I don't want that. Try and just gently take some of that out of there. I'm just not liking how this is going. I think I may just wash it off and go in with diluted paint instead of pastels. As much as I really prefer the look of pastels, I want the colors to go together on her nose and her lips, and I just don't know that I'm going to be able to get that with pastels. Mainly because I used a cinnamon brown as a base for the lips and then lightened and added pink. And I can't really do that with pastels on her nose without getting really dark really quickly. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to save her for another day because I'm just not feeling how this is going right now. And I usually try not to work on a doll when the motivation isn't there because I end up not happy with the result. Alright, let me check my phone messages really quick. Because this keeps beeping at me. Okay. So, I think I'm going to do Fran Bow next because yeah, because she's going to do more pinky colors again. So, let me get my little reference picture here. I'm going to try and put it somewhere where it'll be on camera for anybody who happens to be flipping through streams. But this is kind of hard to do. Okay, so I picked a different doll to do Fran. She's not a Blythe doll. I got a... Oh my god, why is my brain just not functioning? Those kids wiped me out, man. One of the Pure Nemo bodies with the small bust. So she's kind of like a hybrid doll, and the face is from a doll called a Tangkou doll. Because I thought that the features matched Fran a little better. She has that really pronounced pointy nose. Kind of a pouty face. So I thought that this face suited her pretty well. I was initially going to round the eye holes out a bit more because these are a little almond shape and Fran's eyes are pretty big and round in most of the images, but I mean, you can see from here that like an almond shape isn't totally out of the question for her. So I ended up just opting not to do that just in case I screwed it up. So I'm going to start with, I think, yeah, her lip color is pretty neutral. So I'm going to start with those rosy cheeks because they're going to be very pinky, and I think that I can just kind of use whatever's left over on the brush after doing her cheeks to do her lips with. So I think I'm going to go back to this pink from my expensive I just call them my expensive pastels because I could never pronounce the name without my speech impediment getting in the way. But they're these. They're fancy, they're nice. I got these when I was in art school, and we used them for like proper art things. So, you know, they're good quality. They're really pigmented, which I like. So, I didn't buy them for doll faces, but I have seen other doll face-up artists who use this brand. So, I figured I would give them a shot before I went out and started buying other pastels. And I ended up really liking them for doll faces. They don't have the greatest color selection because they're, what? Yeah, I got 24 of those. And most of them are not colors that you would use on a face. But the colors that are there are really nice. They're good quality. They blend really nicely. Okay, so for cheek blushing, I like to put the color down with the small brush because it does lay it down more opaque, so you don't have to do quite as many layers. And then I just sort of pound it in there with an eyeshadow brush. I don't really know how best to describe that. You just sort of, you kind of just pound it in there. Like, you don't really want to brush at it, you just kind of want to pounce on it. So I really like the shape that these dolls have to their face, but the dolls themselves, this is the only one I've bought, but I don't think I want to buy any more other than maybe to do more customs in the future. But like the body she came on was just really low quality. Like it was sticky. Like that really cheapy, like sticky plastic vinyl kind of feeling. Oh no. I just tried to do a mama bird on the side of her face. Or not a mama bird, a mama cat. And I didn't realize that I had pastel on my finger. I didn't want to get the eraser because I didn't want to take all of it off. I am trying to blush her face, but I was just trying to grab that little piece of whatever. I think it was actually a piece of eraser dust from the bunny girl that was stuck to the side of her face and ended up making a big mess. Story of my life. So this is literally just a regular old mechanical pencil eraser. Works pretty well to pick up pastels that get where you don't want them. I also use this little Tombow Mono Zero eraser because it's the same thing, but it's itty bitty. So you can like get into little crevices like around the nose and mouth and stuff. And it works really well with watercolor pencils too. And the bastard squirrel is on the feeder again. Damn it! Alright, I'm just going to try and re-blend out that area that had to be erased. So I'm going to use the blush brush because it's less opaque and I think I can fix that without having a defined line where I had to erase. Okay. Yeah, it's really hard to show this on camera today with the lighting that I have in my house, unfortunately. This is much brighter and pinker in person. I don't know if I need to like shadow it a little bit or something. It just looks so muddy on camera, but it's not muddy. It's like a bright pinky kind of color. Get rid of that eraser dust. Alright, so it really does start right up under her eyes. So I'm going to put that a little bit closer. Okay. I'm going to start the other side right under her eye so I don't have to come back and add it. Shoot, I had a little bit of a scratch there. I was hoping that the MSC had filled that in. Because I did read somebody comment on somebody else's question on a forum that MSC would fill in minor scratches, but I don't know. You see it? I think that if I just blush carefully and try not to add any powder directly into the scratched area, it'll probably hide itself a little better. Alright, so I just want to put it more around the scratch and not in the scratch. Okay. I do think that looks a little bit better. It's not quite as noticeable. I mean, it's still there. It's probably always going to be there. But since I'm making her for my own collection, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Man, I really wish I could show off this doll I just finished for my swap, but I don't want to spoil the surprise for my swap partner. I wish it would stop raining long enough for me to put her in the mail. I just don't feel good about setting anything that valuable outside when it's been raining every day for like a week straight. And it's supposed to continue raining for at least the next few days, I think. I'm hoping to have her out by this weekend. But since I'm waiting on socks and shoes to get to me anyway, I guess it's not the biggest problem that I haven't gotten her out yet. And I need to bring it a little farther down the right cheek. Kind of mad at myself because the only reason there's even scratches on her cheeks is because I was sanding the shine off. And after buying MSC, I never used to use it because I was afraid of how toxic it was. But I recently bought myself a respirator and I've been using MSC on my dolls, and with MSC, you don't really have to sand them. So I basically did all of that for nothing and scratched her face up when I didn't have to. But I just consider it a learning experience. And I know that next time that I buy a doll with a shiny face that I want her face to be matte, I just have to spray her and I don't have to sand her. Alright, and I'm gonna just... I'm blending now with a brush that doesn't have anything on it. This is an empty brush, I guess you could say. Just to really soften the edges of that color. It kind of helps set it in there better. Got tired hiccups trying to start. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I know it probably looks, yeah, it does look a bit more subtle on camera. But it is a very pinky, very blushy look. So I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna do her lips next, I think. Use that same color of pink. But just sort of barely fill the brush. And then I'm going to blend most of it off because her lips are pretty neutral. Like, they have a really distinctive shape to them, but they're not super colorful. Which I assume is a design choice because the character is, I think, 11 years old at the end of the game and like 10 years old at the beginning. So oops, I want the empty brush. I'm just gonna soften that. Oh, hey, my first spam comment. Look at that. I don't think I've ever had a spam comment. I don't think I can get rid of that on OBS, but I want to make sure that I don't have spammers, like, actually messing up my comments and stuff. think I have to go to Twitch to get rid of the spam comment. Let me just do this really quick. I don't know how bad it is to just leave that there. Oh shoot, I can't do anything. Okay, I can't do anything on Twitch either, it looks like. So, I'm just gonna go out of that. Uh-oh, I'm stuck. Okay. Yeah, I don't see a way to get rid of my spam comment. Okay, whatever. I guess I'll just be excited because that's my first spam comment. I don't know if that means that, like, hey, I've finally made it as a Twitch streamer. I got my first spam comment. Okay, so I've got... I want to kind of take this down just a bit. Just make sure that I'm keeping the actual color on her lips confined to the inside of the lips themselves, because again, her lip color is very light and neutral and almost unnoticeable. So these are probably the last of the little girl dolls that I'll be making for a little while, after I do Fran and Lenore. I might do Ruby Gloom at some point. I don't know, maybe a Wednesday Addams eventually. It's a pretty popular character, so I'm sure I'll get a request at some point, being somebody who specializes in spooky dooky characters. Okay. Yeah, I really actually like the way that looks. And again, it's going to be almost invisible on camera, but it's like a nice, subtle, pinky color. So I'm going to focus on... Fran has dark circles around her eyes that are pretty prominent. It looks like they're more of a brown color. So I don't want to go with the dark pastel set yet. Because I have this one that I'm going to use a couple for Lenore. Yeah, so I think I want to go back to the Mungyo ones. These are really cheap too. Like, they're kind of awesome for how cheap they are. I want to say I spent like $12 on this set. And that was not on sale because I was impatient. But this brand does go on sale fairly regularly on Amazon. So if you would like to try doing doll faces, this would be a good starter brand. Alright, now I'm just going to take this light tan color and just do the Philtrum and Nostrils really quick. Just while I have the pastels out in front of me. like to do the nostrils with not a round brush, an angled brush, because you can just kind of turn it around and the angle gets all around the little holes. Okay. So I have to keep holding this up into my proper lighting, which I realize takes it away from the camera, but I took this pink away from the lips and didn't realize I was also taking it away from the edge of the blushing. So I think I'm just gonna kind of blend those edges back in a little bit there, because otherwise it looks like she has a white mustache. And somehow I think this 11-year-old girl probably doesn't have a white mustache. Okay. Only now I got it on her nose. This is why this can sometimes become quite a process to get a single face done, because there's a lot of going back and correcting mistakes and occasionally fixing things that were overcorrected, so you have to go back and do them again. Getting the little eraser bits off. I don't want to use my finger again. I learned my lesson. Okay. So, I'm going to go in and do these dark circles now. And probably when I finish that, I think I'm going to sketch the outline for the eyebrows in pastels. Yeah, and then I'm going to seal my progress before I worry about putting individual eyebrow hairs in with a pencil. So let me see, just trying to decide what kind of color I want to use here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I think I want to go with this first, and then I'll go very, very lightly in with black over these two. So, let me start with the dark brown. Then I'm going to put that purplish color over top. Now, if I wasn't doing this on stream, I would actually be sealing in between every single step. So, like, I would have done the cheeks, and then I would have sealed it. And I would have done the lips, and then I would have sealed it. And then I would do the eyes, and then I would seal that. And then I would do the eyebrows, and then I would put the final seal on. So, yeah, this is always a process. But since I'm doing her on stream, and because I'm not planning on selling her, I don't mind skipping a few steps of sealing. I just have to be extra, extra careful not to mess anything up, because if I wipe anything off, I'm going to have to start entirely from scratch, because it's going to take off everything around it. And I am officially at the point where everything is touching each other. Like the blushing from the eyes is going to touch the blushing from the cheeks. The blushing from the cheeks is going to run into the nose. And all of that is going to touch the blushing from the lips. So I officially cannot erase anything beyond this point. In fact, I may wait to do her eyebrows just because of the fact that I won't be able to erase. I didn't think about that. I'm glad I thought of that before I put them on. Because if I put them on and hated them, I would have been screwed. Okay, so I think this is probably pretty good for the first layer. It really is meant to look more like shadowing and or bruising, like from insomnia and medications, rather than makeup. Because again, this character is a little girl. And that bastard squirrel is just chilling on my fucking bird feeder. I'm really starting to get angry. Stay off of there. Asshole. Oh no. A little bit of a drip there. I'm hoping I can blend this out rather than erasing. Yeah, okay. Just dropped a big chunk of pastel powder. It's not really, you can't really tell, so that's good. Trying to be really careful here and only put so much on the brush at a time. So, I think that's a good start. I'm going to add the purplish color. So even with my terrible lighting, you can really see that these blend pretty well for a $12 box of pastels, because this is already a significantly different color than this side. And that's only one layer of blending so far. So these are really good pastels. I would definitely recommend them as a starter set. Where I think they would fall short, both literally and metaphorically, is just the fact that they're really small. Like, I mean, I don't know how to really show a good size comparison. There. So they're about an inch long. So they're not very big. So for like more traditional art uses, you might be a little limited in what you can do with them. But if you're using them with a brush, they're really good. They're kind of awesome for the price. And if the Rembrandt ones hadn't been on sale at the time that I bought them and hadn't come so highly recommended from multiple Blythe artists, I think I probably would have stuck with the $12 a box Mungyo set and just bought a bigger selection of colors. Or even just a different selection of colors, because the Mungyo brand does have different like theme color sets. This is just the basic color set, but there was like a portraits color set, a landscape color set, and then I think they had a vibrant colors set. But this was the one that seemed the most practical for my uses, because it has both some fun, bright, but also really good neutral tones for shading skin. So I've only done light-skinned doll faces for my customs so far, just because this is what I've been able to get my hands on. But I think I probably have, just between the boxes of pastels and watercolors that I have, I probably have enough of a color selection to do pretty much any color of doll skin. Okay, that's already looking much more like natural, shadowy eyes. So I'm gonna pull this purpley shade down a little bit into the cheeks to kind of simulate the eye bags. And then I'm gonna very thinly go over the entire thing with a little bit of black. And I don't want to overdo it because these faces are so small. Before I did Blythe faces, I did 18-inch customs primarily, and it's very different working on a doll whose face is roughly half the size of what I was doing previously, and their body is much, much smaller. So I haven't really done any body blushing on my dolls, on my Blythe type dolls yet. But I'm going to with the alien girl. She's going to get a full body blushing because I'm going to have to turn her green. Alright, I want to keep this so it's visible to the camera, but I also need to see it, so I'm going to have to hold it up for a second so I can make sure that I'm not pulling the eye bags too low down. Okay, and then I'm going to take my empty brush and sort of blend those eye bags out a little bit. Not quite as harshly as I blended the cheeks, so it's more of a dab than a pound. I just want to soften it just the tiniest bit. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to add the little bit of black to darken it up. And then I'm going to move on to Lenore. And I got a hair. So I'm just going to dab this and dab some of it off because I don't want to go too harshly. So just dab it on the pastel. And you can see it's just barely darkening that up a bit without getting muddy. So if I were to add more brown into that, I think I would run the risk of getting very muddy. But by taking just the teeny tiniest hint of black, it doesn't get, like, it just pulls the colors a little bit deeper. And the black would get muddy too if I were not careful with it, which is why I'm dabbing the excess off onto the paper before I put any down on the eyelids. And I'm sure other people probably have their own techniques to blending colors exactly how they want them, but this is just what I've found that works pretty well for me. So, here's my reference, and here's my face, and I think that's looking pretty good. So, I'm going to set her aside for now, because I want to spray her face again before I do her eyebrows. So, we're going to put that over here and pull up Lenore. Okay, so I think Lenore is going to be pretty straightforward. There's not really, she doesn't really have a lot of color to her character, so I'm going to go in with grays, maybe a little bit of brown, but mostly grays, and a little bit of dark purple around the eyes. Well, yeah, I did one of those cartoon face things. I didn't post it anywhere because I didn't think it was all that great. Everybody else looks cute and mine just looks like a Pixar reject. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna do, let's see, I'm gonna start with one of my more neutral grays. So I'm gonna keep this set out and start, maybe this one looks like a good medium gray. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna just start with the eye shading. I think I may have sealed a tiny piece of lint in her little cheek area here. Oh, Lenore. Let me use a little bit of water here. I wouldn't mind, but it's blue. I think it's small enough that it probably won't even show up on camera, but I can't have a little blue spot on my colorless girl. Like, that's her whole thing, is she's a little dead girl. She's not colorful. And I did the same thing I did before, where I ended up accidentally putting pastel color down on her while I was trying to rub it off. Although this time it wasn't from my fingers, it was from that napkin. And here I thought I wasn't going to need a rag today because I was only working with pastels. I guess I know better. Alright, well, the good news is I'm pretty sure that the little piece of lint came off. Yep. Alright, so no harm, no foul. Just get that colorful napkin out of here. Okay. Just add a little bit of shading in this mouth area here. I wish I had a smaller brush that was good for pastels, but I don't. So it's going to make a little bit of a mess, and I'm just going to have to clean the mess up. I can't hold on to things. eraser dust off. So it's a good start to the shadowing on the mouth. I'm going to go in, I think that's the next shade darker of the gray around the eyes. Just move that for a second. With the empty brush. I'm blending outward this time. Because I want to bring the color out around her eyes. Well, color, the pastel. So I'm applying in sort of a circular kind of motion. Go in with this. Get the edges that are a little too far out. And some of it where it put the pastel down just a little bit too heavy. And blend. Go in with the lighter gray again. Just kind of fill in any areas that look uneven. And you always want to fill with a shade that's a little bit lighter than your final shade, because you can layer that up and up and up and blend it a lot easier than if you use the actual shade. Alright, so it's pretty well blended. So I'm going to do the next one. And start with the light one again. can tell my hands are tired too. Can't seem to hold on to anything. So I need to add a little bit more on the outside of this one. Probably not going to finish her on stream because my hands are just not cooperating today. I keep dropping everything, and I'm worried I'm going to get her like 3/4 of the way finished and then drop her and like scrape a bunch of the pastel off. That happened with my swap doll, but I fixed her pretty well because I hadn't sealed her. I hadn't put her final seal on yet, so I was able to just go in and fix the area that got scratched because I dropped the faceplate. Okay. Go a little bit. Trying to think if I want to blush her nose or just paint it. Because it is pretty solidly black in the comics, but I kind of like the idea of a blushed nose more than a painted nose. I am going to paint the line on her mouth. I think I am going to blush the nose though. So I think I'm going to do that next. And then go in again around the eyes with black. And then that might be it. She might be done. So maybe I will finish her on camera. Or on stream, I mean. I lost my music again. Okay. And that's back. Oh. My computer's been doing this thing ever since I got it back from Geek Squad. I think one of my settings got reset, and I don't actually know how to fix it. But I'm kind of too embarrassed to tell them that I don't know how to fix it. But it keeps like switching itself into and out of performance mode, which makes the volume, every time it switches into performance mode, it turns the volume way up. So I keep getting like startled by the sudden increase in volume. That, and also like at night when I'm watching videos to fall asleep and suddenly the volume just goes way up, that's kind of not helpful. Okay, But damn it! This is why I'm almost afraid to do the nose, because I don't want to drop her faceplate and ruin it. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to start with this medium gray. And I am going to blush it until it is basically black. But I'm going to do it gradually. What I really need to do is find my kneaded eraser, because those you can use with pastels to like pick up this excess powder that gets around without completely erasing everything around it. It just sort of lightens the area around it so you can reblush it to the level of where it was before you accidentally hit it with the eraser. But I don't know where I put my kneaded eraser. I put it somewhere very safe. Okay. I think I'm gonna go in with the black. Here we go. I think I might just leave all of the messy areas around it until I can find my kneaded eraser, so that I don't have to worry about unblushing her eyes by accident. Although I guess it's not the end of the world if I did, because it's just gray. It's not like I had to do some kind of crazy custom blended color on her. I know I'm like completely blocking the camera view right now, but this is kind of hard to do with pastels. I just like the look better than paint, so I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm determined to do it this way. There. So I have to clean up the area around the nose. But I'm pretty happy with the nose itself. I'm going to see how much I can do with this. I'm going to go in and erase the area under the nose because obviously I don't have to worry about unblushing the mouth. Let's see if I can do this without hitting that eye shadowing. Oh, I went a little too far onto the side of the nose on the left. I'm gonna have to fix that. So there's her little nose. I'm going to do a little bit more around her eyes. And probably going to call it a day after that. Yep. A little snack break. Did not mean to drop that right into my work area. Damn it. This is why I don't normally eat while I'm working. But I'm starting to wonder if maybe my hands aren't shaking because I need to eat. Alright, I'm just going to flip that over. I haven't really decided yet if I want to do like these little sketchy lines around the eyes or not. I think I probably will. Just because she has them in pretty much every picture. I think it would really sell that it's Lenore. But I'm gonna seal all the blushing before I do that. Yeah. I think it'll look better if I do it. Alright. I think I'm actually going to go in with my other set of pastels, just because these are a little bit more solid. And I actually want something that's going to be not as opaque and blend a little bit better. So the black in this set tends to go on a little bit more of a charcoal gray than a true black. So I think this is going to work better for her eyes. And this is kind of why you sort of just have to play with all of your supplies regularly so that you know how they behave, and you know which ones will work better for which projects. Like, you can tell that some of the colors that I don't use as much, I still definitely prefer to test them out on scraps of paper before I try and use them on my final project. But Things like blacks and grays, I pretty much have tested everything that I have, so I have a better idea of how each one is going to perform and which ones are going to be better for which tasks. Same with my brushes. Like I use this one for pastels because the bristles are sturdier than my other bristles. Like they're almost a little too stiff to use with paints, but that makes them kind of perfect to use with pastels because they do a really good job of laying the color down. It's really hard not to go heavy-handed when you're working entirely with blacks and grays. But they can turn very muddy very quickly, so you really do have to go gently and build up a little at a time. I don't know what's going on with this line on the edge here. I don't know where that came from. Let's see if I can just lift it a little bit without completely erasing. Yeah, that's much better. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm just tapping very, very lightly so it doesn't take all of the color up. It just kind of lightens that really odd little dark line that showed up out of nowhere. And then dab a little bit more of the pastel powder. And a good blend. There. I feel like that looks a lot better. You can't even really see where that line was. So I'm going to keep going with blending this black out. Oops, I probably added a little bit too much there, but it should be okay. It should blend back together. You know what, if I'm going to add those sketchy lines around the eyes, under the eyelid, I think it's not going to matter if it's not perfect. And again, this one's just for my collection because I really, really want a Lenore doll. Okay, I think that eye is looking just about done. Yeah, I want to to blend it just a little bit further, but I really want to be careful not to overdo it. I just want to bring it down the tiniest bit, because if I am going to do those little under eye lines, I want to make sure that I have room to space them out enough from each other and still have them sitting in that dark shadow. So okay. Alright. So I think that's better. That's going to give me more room to put the little sketchy lines in. Just going to start on the other side. So I know that looks a lot darker right now, but we're going to blend and blend and blend, 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 and blend, and blend, and blend some more. See, it started out darker, now it's almost, that right side is almost lighter. So we're going to go back in, just a little bit at a time. Blend it in. I think one side did get a little closer to the nose, so I'm going to even that out. Looks pretty even to me. So I'm going to take this and spray seal. Oh, you know what? There is a little bit of a patch in here that isn't quite filled in. Okay. There. Now it looks pretty even on both sides. So I'm going to seal Fran and Lenore, and then I'm going to come back and do Fran's eyebrows and the little sketchy lines on Lenore's eyes and paint the little line on her mouth. Okay. So I think that's going to be it for today, just because I think my hands probably need a break. I mean, they're still shaking pretty bad. Do you guys like my new shirt, by the way? This is my new favorite shirt. It's so cool. I love it. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna take those out, and I'm gonna seal those, and I think that's gonna be it for the day. Give myself a little bit of a break here. Go get some final pictures of my swap doll before I pack her up to go in the mail, hopefully tomorrow. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to say before I sign off for the day. I am planning on doing my usual gaming stream tomorrow. I'm going to go back and try and get back to my same level of progress in Layers of Fear. So I'm going to play that again tomorrow night. Probably start around 9:30ish at the latest. I'm really trying to start a little bit earlier so I can play for a bit longer. But you know how my streams go. Something always goes wrong right as I start streaming. So hopefully my internet and OBS will cooperate with each other and I won't have frozen webcams, and I'll be able to start right around 9. Yeah, can't think of anything else. Yeah, I kind of can't believe that I forgot that I was gonna have the tiny humans in my house last week. I had fully intended on streaming, and I just didn't think about the logistics of trying to do that with a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and a 10-year-old who all would like to be the center of my attention. So, yeah, obviously that didn't happen. And then also, you know, doing scary games where I might potentially end up screaming when they're in bed trying to sleep also did not seem like the best idea. So I just gave myself a week off. The plan was to come back tomorrow with my streams. They left early in the morning tomorrow, but I was too tired, and it was like pouring rain all day, and my streams don't like to cooperate when it's pouring rain. It's actually like relatively sunny out right now. It's like a little windy, like it's going to rain, but it's not raining today, so I figured I would do my art stream today. My normal scary video game stream tomorrow when it's supposed to be raining, because that'll kind of add to the atmosphere, and hopefully it doesn't rain hard enough that it affects my streaming signal. But yeah, next week hopefully everything should be fully back to normal again with Tuesday and Thursday streams. Hopefully I'll have house news soon. Not this week. The house we're trying to see only has availability on the weekends. I think it's after 11, which is ridiculous to begin with. And then we were supposed to see it this past Saturday, and they canceled our showing 5 minutes before we walked out the door with no explanation. There was another one, we were going to go to an open house the same day, and the open house also canceled, like, on very short notice. And that one was pending the next day. So I think that one just sold, and they decided not to let anyone see it and to just take whatever offer it was that they had, which kind of makes me angry because we were going to put an offer in at the open house if we liked it, but whatever. I just want to move and get it over with, honestly. Like, I'm not even excited about it anymore. It needs to happen because it needs to happen. But, like, it's not something I'm looking forward to anymore. I really just want to get it over with. It's becoming stressful. Is that squirrel about to climb up on the feeder again? I might have to chase the squirrel off, so I'm going to stop ranting and sign off for the day. Was my hair doing weird things again? I had to cut my hair, and I had to cut like half an inch more off of it than I was intending because it was just dead. So it's doing weird things again. But yeah, I'm gonna... Oh, and my glasses. My glasses are also new. They're green. My favorite purple glasses broke because that's just how this year is going so far. But it's okay, because I got these to replace them, and I actually really like these, like, a lot more than I thought I was going to, so it's not a total loss. But yeah, I'm gonna sign off for the day. I'll be back tomorrow night with scary games, and Tuesday again with more art things. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. I am kind of still in the process of packing up my sewing and crafting area, so it's going to depend on what I haven't packed yet. I might do more doll stuff, but honestly, by Tuesday, I think I'm going to have most of them that I'm working on a good way finished, so maybe I'll work on some resin eyes or something, because I made some resin Blythe eyes this past week that actually didn't come out as terrible as I expected them to. Some of them actually came out really cool, so I don't know, maybe I'll do some more of that on Tuesday. We'll see. But yeah, it'll be 2:30, 3-ish, you know, whenever I eventually get myself sat down and ready to go next Tuesday. And hopefully by then I will know about this house, because we are scheduled to see them again this Saturday, and hopefully they won't cancel on us 5 minutes before. So that's it. Alright, thank you for watching. I guess I'll see you tomorrow, maybe next week as well. Alright, bye.